Hey, all you cool cats and gamers! Welcome to Victory Lap, the GDQ hotfix show that highlights recent world record and personal best runs and the runners who made them happen. I'm your host, Nuclear, and tonight we've got two SNES games for you. Up first, we got Oats and Goats here with his recent, from this, like a couple days ago, PB of Super Metroid, any percent. Following that, we'll have Void with DKC 101%. But before we get into the runs, just a couple of announcements. AGDQ 2023 online prize submissions are open from now until December 30th. Go to gamesdonequick.com for more information. And the schedule for Frostbite House 2023 will be released on December 21st. View the submissions at submissions.framefatales.com and let us know what you're hoping to see on the schedule. And if you want to follow what Games Done Quick is up to, use command links in Twitch chat for all things GDQ. With that, I'll go ahead and pass things off to Oats to get us into this run.
Alrighty, howdy, how's it going? I am Oats and Goats, and we are going to watch my latest PB of Super Metroid. And we'll try to explain some things along the way, and hopefully it gets some people excited about the run, and maybe they'll try their hand at it as well. So let's just get started.
Like everyone except me has gone crazy.
Okay, so first things first, you're gonna notice, I believe I did it, yeah. So right away, there's kind of a weird trick there, Moonfall. That trick isn't really necessary at the start. We're talking maybe 5 to 10 frames. I always joke about it never being necessary, but I did bite the bullet and started going for it a little bit. But if you've ever seen this speedrun, the speedrun always starts on Series Station. It is kind of a necessary evil.
I've been playing better the
it's
last 3
kind of
days.
tedious, but
In the last 3 days
it's
is when
just kind of it's fun because it turns into like a little mini game. As you see, like the chat on screen is guessing a bunch of numbers, so we just kind of turned it into something fun and not so tedious. Right off the bat, what you do is you take damage from Ridley. Ridley is carrying the baby away. And what that does is that allows the cutscene to happen sooner, or you can shoot Ridley 100 times, but no one wants to do that. That's way too long. So pretty much the goal is escape in 60 seconds. And if you can't do it in 60 seconds, then I think I'll escape just fine. So. But yeah, basically, Series is just a big RNG fest. There's a lot of steam coming out of the ground. In this room, it's just tiles. And then we try to examine everything falling to do the trick there that you saw was a damage boost. And that's pretty much it. There's not too many things to say other than pretty much just escape and damage boosting is the only real tricks going on.
I'm still not seeing my actual emotes.
Apparently, I'm clipping.
Oh, God. My shit's
Maybe I can
freaking out
turn
other
myself
than that,
down.
though. Better TV settings.
Or we got to figure it out. I don't know yet.
I think it's because there was an emote window thing.
Yeah,
on.
so this is kind of the
emote menu, I think, fucked it up.
time to where we just relax for a
it's
minute.
Still not working.
Going to Planet
There's
DBs.
copium truck. Nice.
And there's really nothing too
You
much
heard
to
of
say.
GDQ or
The
not?
first 5 minutes of this speed game, it's always pretty much the same. You go and get Morph Ball, you go get missiles, the planet
So you think
wakes
anyone has
up,
perfectly symmetrical butt
and
cheeks?
you go and fight the first mini-boss
no.
Bomb Tree Zone.
Just like there's no snow.
So here you're going to see some moon falling like I did on the first room in Series Station.
Butt cheek that is identical.
You're going to see it here as well. This trick was discovered many, many years ago. It was one of the bigger tricks discovered, which allows us to save a good chunk of time, anywhere from like 5 to 12 seconds. It really depends on how much you utilize it.
You want a room together again?
Yeah, so going down to
GDQ?
Morph here.
It's remote.
If anything notable comes up, I'll try to explain. Or if the chat has any questions,
I'll give you the doghouse.
please feel free to ask, and I'll try to get to it.
I'll put an air mattress out in the garage for you.
Yeah. These are very
Heater insulation, so it's
essential
a little chilly,
items
but,
to collect,
You know.
or else you cannot wake up the planet. So then we move on to the missiles. A lot of the tricks that you're seeing are kind of hard to explain. There's a lot of little nuance
No. Mia's getting the
that's
guest room?
happening, like certain tricks like down backing
Oh,
or
yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah.
mock balling. like you're going to see here is the first mock ball of the game, to where you can travel quickly in ball form. Ledge grabbing,
If you ever want to come
stuff
here,
like that. So
the doors are always open.
pretty much any frame that we can out of the first 5 minutes, so we can have a consistent bombs time, and then a consistent like first 10 minutes of the game essentially is really important. This game is starting to get pretty optimized now. With this PB, it's puts me about 18 seconds away from the long-standing record that Zost has had for quite a while of 46. He recently beat it by some frames and turned it into a 40-45. This room here is kind of the first tricky area for a lot of new speedrunners. Wall jumping in this game is notoriously difficult. And after many years, it becomes a little bit less difficult. And this room as well has been optimized like crazy. Just a lot of ledge grabs, wall jumping, and yeah.
Did see a question in chat asking, how long have you been running Super Metroid and how often do you do so?
Albert's gonna have a nice little mattress set up in a different
I've been running Super Metroid since 2013. I always say I have anywhere from 12 to 15,000 hours. It's really hard to tell at this point. Recently, for the last 4 or 5 months, I've taken it quite seriously to try to lower my time. When I started with a 4146, and we are at a 4103, and a decent amount of time, but a good little time window. So I've been starting to practice the game almost more than I run the game lately over the last few months. So hopefully that answers that question. So that's Bomb Chorizo. Alcatraz skip there. It's also kind of another like first trick. If the chat wants me to explain anything, like I said, please feel free to ask and I'll try to get to it, because there's a lot going on, so it's kind of hard to get to everything. But I definitely want to answer anything if someone has a question. Oh, how the heck did he do that? Or what's the purpose of getting this? Or
early June.
This is necessary here because we are going to fight Phantoon first. You might be wondering how we do that, but I can kind of explain the trick as we get there to get across the water, because generally you need grapple or speed booster, but we're going there without either of those.
About 60, 80s in June.
Well, thank you, Zenny. Thank you. This is the trick coming up is early super missiles. So this is the first mandatory mock ball of the game. Generally, you need speed booster to get across and beat these gates, but with mock balling, we maintain Samus's run speed in ball form so we can stay below the gates and avoid getting speed booster there. Super missiles are essential so we can escape Pink Brinstar and make our way to the wrecked ship. I see a question, how long did it take to learn the bomb jump?
A little chilly.
That's kind of hard to answer, because everything in this game is there's a high skill ceiling for almost every single thing in this game and every technique. So it's been years and years in the making to try to make it as refined as it is, I guess.
29 Celsius.
When I first learned how to just do it in general, I can't even give an answer for how long that actually took, but it probably took some time. Bomb jumping can be kind of confusing, especially horizontal bomb jump. I think that's what I did in this run here.
Wait, what's your fitness question?
Yeah, basically, to quick explain here, we are going to Phantoon, and Phantoon hits very, very hard. This route was discovered, I believe, in 2014 or early 15. And we've been running this ever since. Going to Phantoon first instead of Kraid cuts out a ton of backtracking. However, it makes the run much more difficult. As you'll see here, this room is the first kind of difficult hurdle, to where we have to chase our charge shot or chase our shot up quick enough to where it pans the camera and hits that top block there. And that can be really tough because you have to be very quick with your wall jumps. And then everything from here on out is just hitting you very, very hard. Like these caterpillars here, they will do, I don't know, what is it, 60 damage, I believe. And if you do that, it's almost game over because Phantoon hits you for 40. And there's flames going around, patterns that are kind of random flames. And yeah, so we basically want to keep a high health count. And high health count, decent missiles, but I didn't get any missile drops really. So I will be entering Phantoon essentially with the bare minimum here. I do like a lot of the Metroid games, yes. Even Other M, I don't think the gameplay with Other M is the worst thing ever. But the story is interesting, I'll say that. So this trick, I guess I can kind of explain what's going on. So
What is required?
this is kind of the first hurdle, and I do have the ability to rewind. So this room is, I don't know if it was ever considered TAS only, but basically the first jump here, if you jump on the last possible frame, which I was 1 frame off, you can make it far enough past the missile and you can do another wall jump. So it's called a CWJ or continuous wall jump. I was 1 frame early, I believe 1 frame. So I had to go for a bomb jump here. So as you'll see,
I would look at the leaderboards. What is it, like 50?
this is the horizontal bomb jump. It's a very necessary trick. And that allows us to get across the moat. So in combination of red tower, everything hitting you very hard, only having 1 E-tank, and getting across the moat,
I haven't looked at the leaderboards.
this route was almost deemed to be not feasible until I believe Behemoth started doing it in late 2014-15, and then it kind of became the standard. So nothing really notable here. It's just a lot of small technical things and just really tight movement that we try to optimize.
That's actually a lot lower than I thought.
And then this is the highest reset point of the game for sure.
10 years ago.
There could be thousands of runs
That's
here.
crazy.
The best pattern that you're looking for is a fast. Now, this fight is done in 2 rounds, and there is slow, mid, or fast. Fast is a 6.2175% chance. So it's quite unlikely. What I get is a mid, which is still a fairly okay pattern, but not ideal for the runs I'm going for and the times I'm going for. And that's about a 9% chance, as opposed to the worst pattern, which also is the most likely pattern of a slow or a slow mid, which is 18% chance. So this is a significant hurdle to overcome because you have to see just hundreds of Phantoon patterns and try to just see the fast or the fast mid. So at this point, my resources. Let me explain real quick. So when you're leaving Phantoon, and I have a handy dandy, oh, look at that, I can draw. All of this, my resources. So when I'm leaving, I am looking for at least 160 or more HP. Missiles, I want at least 7, so that's good. Super missiles were perfect. And then power bombs is one of the more important things that you have to look for. So if my power bombs are at 2, I have to make some decisions quickly because I especially in combination with my health. So 22 and 2 is different than 99 and 2. So my decision making is determined based off of essentially my health and my power bomb count. So you need at least 2 in order to make it through here quickly and optimally. And you'll notice that I'm plus 8 seconds. That's because the Fantoon RNG wasn't that great, and my early game was quite poor. But I've been doing a lot of work on segment grinding some of the later segments, and I knew that there was still a possibility that I could really make up a lot of time, even with this quite bad early game. So I just decided to continue, even with the poor resources as well. So with the health, you have to be extremely careful not to take any damage here. Luckily, I had a very clean attic. That's what this room is called. You have to kill all the enemies to unlock the doors, and it can be quite precise because this shot here is on a timer. So the moment I enter the room, the enemies are moving to the left. So I'm deciding, or I'm trying to make a quick decision on if I'm going to get this shot at the end there or not with the super missile. And if my timing is proper, which it was decent there, I know that I can shoot in that specific location and hit both enemies at the same time. And then that allows me to collect both drops and then basically minimize the amount of resources that I'm using, since this game at this point is very resource heavy.
Because if I...
How do you deselect power bombs and instantly reselect? So what I do is, whatever your deselect is, my deselect is select. So I hold deselect, and then I press the select button, which is Y for me, 3 times. So what that does is, if you're holding deselect, you filter through, so 1, 2, 3 for power bombs, and then that'll flash. So that means the next time that I use that item that is flashing, it'll go away. So it's one use, and then it goes back to your beam. So that allows me to eliminate one input. So that makes basically frees up my hands one input. So it allows me to filter to missiles a little bit cleaner without having to press it twice, which is, with how tight timing that room is, it's very important to be precise.
Is it rude? I mean, why the fuck would you ask that?
So you will see that we got Gravity Suit. That is the first suit of the game. Generally, it's Varia suit. And what this does is it has the same properties as Varia. Well, quick. Let me go back to what I was talking about with the power bombs quick, and then I'll explain that. So one important thing in this run, especially at this level, is determining what your resources are at. Like I said, I was at 2 power bombs. I need 2 power bombs. So I used both power bombs. And then this coming up, these fellas right here, these are 60% drop rates for power bombs. And I absolutely need 2. So what I do is I kill both, hope for 2, pray for 1. And if I get 1, I have to then make a decision on my next farming, which I believe that happened here. I only got 1, so I got a 60%, and then there's 40% chance that you get an energy. So then I need to adjust and then do a strat coming up to get 1 more power bomb here so I can continue properly.
Thanks for the 4.
And then as I was saying with Gravity Suits, it has the same properties as Varia, and a lot of people ask, why do you get Varia Suit if you have Gravity? It does the same thing. Well, Gravity also has another property, but only for Mother Brain, I believe, the Rainbow Beam. So when Mother Brain is doing her Rainbow Beam attack, if you don't get Varia, it takes 6 E-Tanks. If you don't get 6 E-Tanks, Samus will die. So you need to either collect 3 more E-Tanks or just collect the 1 item, which is Varia, for the damage reduction. We are going to Spazer here. Spazer is also something a lot of people ask about. Like, why do you need Spazer? It seems like kind of a waste of time. Is the damage that you deal really that worth it? And the answer is absolutely yes. So it takes about 20 to 25 seconds to grab Spazer here. And it deals a decent enough amount more damage to where when we fight Ridley, which is many, many shots, and then Mother Brain, we save a significant amount of time grabbing Spazer. So it is worth it once you figure out the math and you do all the calculations, I guess, on the enemy HP and how many shots it takes. So yeah, Spazer is absolutely one of those things that we incorporate into the run for that reason. Trying to see if there's any more questions that I did not pick up on.
Could I get it by the end of the year? Yes. But that's entirely different than will
so nothing too special here. Basically,
other factor that you can think of.
We are just trying to have clean, optimal movement. I have grinded these segments hundreds of times now at this point. In these rooms, I have grinded thousands and thousands of times.
Yes,
so basically,
I could get record
all of these
now.
movements are very
I feel confident in that.
set in place at this point where not much has changed. So the only thing that does really change at this point is if I make a mistake and how I deal with that mistake with my backup strats. So basically that's all you're seeing here. There's no like crazy tricks happening or anything, but it all has to be very clean, precise movement to go for the paces that I'm trying to achieve, and very good, quick backup strats if those strats aren't dealt with properly initially. Real quick, you'll see that I am quite behind, very in the red by 12 seconds. At this point, I have grinded, I think, this segment the most. And I learned that this had about a 4-second gold split. So a gold split in speedrunning is just essentially, is this the best that you've ever done this segment? This is a 3-minute and 20-minute segment or so. My PB gets a 3:27. My best is a 3:19. The best I've gotten in practice is like a 3:14. So I know that I have a significant amount of time save here. And that's kind of what I'm banking on at this point, because even though that this pace is very good, 16:53.
Yeah, practicing helps.
It's still borderline not good enough for what I'm trying to achieve. So I'm doing some riskier strats here to try to make up some of this time. This point in the game is extremely resource heavy. This is when you have to make decisions on whether or not you lose a second to 2.5 seconds per farm or so to get more super missiles, or you just leave and you hope that in Lore Norfair, enemies will give you the luck that you need so you can kill Ridley quickly. So having at least 6 or more super missiles leaving this farm coming up is ideal. The closer to 10 you are, the better. I cannot remember what I get here, but we'll see. So I just did one farm. What I do is I don't even look at the ammunition. I don't look at this when I'm doing any of that. So if I enter the room and I say I'm not going to do 2 farm no matter what, I ignore everything on top and I just wait until I complete the room. Once I looked, I realized that I got kind of screwed over a little bit. Right here, this little missile jump, this is a pretty... Thank you. This is a pretty important item skip here. Some people decide to get this. And like myself, I have been skipping this missile when I've run this category for quite a long time. You only need 15 missiles and 10 supers to complete the game. However, you need exactly 15 and 10, which means that at the Mother Brain tank, if a shot hits one of your missiles, or if you leave the Metroid rooms with not enough resources, you cannot complete the game. So that is a time save of about 4 or 5 seconds at the risk of losing everything if you don't get proper resources, or if one of the 3 turrets that are firing randomly, or no, 2 turrets firing randomly hit one of your shots.
Yeah, I feel very lucky.
Yes,
How many times have you lost runs like that?
Oh yeah. The other day I got a gold split. So once again, my best segment there, and it just so happened that the turret hit one of my last super missiles trying to destroy Mother Brain's tank.
Oh,
So
that
I
has
could
to
have
be so
TB'd.
devastating.
Yeah, it was kind of brutal. I've kind of become numb to some of that at this point, but yeah, it was a little bit disappointing to see. But it is the risks that you take trying to save just a little bit of time. And going for these paces is absolutely worth it. This trick here is Lava Spark. Luckily, I nail it, and I kind of do a little backup here. This is a particularly difficult trick for a number of reasons. So you're going to see that Samus is kind of stuttering here. And then if you see my controller input, you'll see that I am pressing run, which is the B button, only on certain frames. So short charging works with the game only checks for a certain frame of running. So if you press run on just those frames, like right about there, a little bit sooner than that, and about right there, that's the frame right there. If you press run just on those frames, you get your shine spark much sooner. So that's the first room here. We set that up with a short charge. And then in this room, we have to press down half on the block and about half off this block here. So if I press it early, which I did here, I crouch. The only thing I can do, because I only have a lenience of about 3 frames or so here, I have to go into Morph Ball, take a damage boost sooner from this. I can't remember what they're called. The chat can tell me what they are. And then I have to try to shine spark as far to the right as possible. So when I did this, if I had to guess, I only had 2 frames remaining. And if I would have waited an extra frame or 2, this would not have worked. And I wouldn't have been able to get this shine spark. So in hindsight, knowing that this is a PB, I got, it was quite good to nail this trick like I did.
Still save 6 seconds.
As you'll see, I did get some of that time save, about 6 seconds.
That was a gold
And at this point, I know that there's a serious chance because my late game had some issues on some of these segments.
I don't know why I'm like
After you fight Ridley,
just keep him equipped.
you have, once again, resource management. And what you have leaving Ridley is very, very important. So if I have good resources leaving, then I can do some riskier strats, saving a bit of time. So this is the worst room in the game. Luckily, it didn't live up to its name. So, any questions in the chat?
No, it's hard to say. Streaming doesn't guarantee you anything.
Not that I see, but feel free to ask questions if you have any.
A thing.
So here we just try to use a shine spark. This travels downwards and upwards when we shine spark like that, and that kills 2 of the key hunters. What that does is that reduces lag in this room significantly, saving about 1.5 seconds or 2 seconds. So
I did see a question earlier that was interesting. You had mentioned that Super Metroid is close to being optimized. How close are we in terms to reaching the human limit in this game?
So when I say optimized, I say that kind of in a realistic, like what you can realistically achieve. However, there have been theory tasks done that have gotten times about 2 minutes faster than the current world record. And the theory task is played by a human, which means that it's theoretically possible to achieve that, but it's incredibly unlikely. It's not feasible for someone to play that good with that level of precision for 38 minutes. It is just nearly impossible. So the human limit still has quite a bit of time. I think someone could achieve a 39, and the world record currently is a 45. However, that would take probably a good 2 years or a year of dedicated full-time grinding, doing some of the most difficult strats that would probably most likely end most of your runs. So Yeah, that's kind of what I mean. It's kind of a loose statement, I suppose, when I say like the human limit, because I'm just talking about what's more so realistic to achieve in real time. Um, so my resources were pretty poor entering this room. You can expect, on average, with the drop rate of these pirates, to collect about 4 or 5 super missiles. And basically, here we use the shine spark animation to kill the pirates, which does a significant amount of damage. At this point in the run, you'll see that I only have 6 missiles, which is fine, but only 7 super missiles and only 3 power bombs. You want to enter here with at least 9 and 4. So I knew that I was already on top of being behind because I decided to continue. I was once again at a disadvantage because of the drop rates not being so good in my favor. What I did there, if you didn't catch that, I'm sure this will be a question asked, is why did I open the fight this way? And what kind of attack is this? This is called X Factor. Every particle does 300 damage. There's 4 particles. So that's 1,200 damage per X Factor. That's just when you have Charge Beam, Wave Beam, and Power Bomb selected. Normally I enter with 4 Power Bombs, but I got a little bit unlucky there. Only had 3. So we kind of open the attack this way in a certain pattern to where the X Factor particles all combine and hit Ridley at one specific time. That wasn't a terrible opening on Ridley, but my super missiles were quite poor. So super missiles are very important because they deal double damage to some enemies. Ridley is one of those enemies. So instead of doing 300 damage like super missiles do to most every other enemy in the game, it does 600. So every super missile is worth 2 charge shots. Every charge shot takes 60 frames to fully charge and release. And every super missile, you can fire 3 super missiles in 1 second, essentially. So it's 1,800 damage versus 300. Ridley has 18,000 health. So what I do here is a little bit of math. So if I enter with this and I have 6, I know that once Ridley turns red, I start counting. So 6 times 2, 12, and then 29 minus 12. So then I get the exact shot number here after Ridley turns red. So then I count to that, and then once I hit that final shot, I know that I can jump into Ridley's claws, as you'll see here once I'm done with the fight. So if I have 9 super missiles at this point in the fight, I know it's 11 shots. So it can be kind of significant. You know, it's 17 shots. So instead of just 11, so that's 6 seconds.
Tough,
but every charge shot isn't perfect. So it's more like 8 seconds, 9 seconds. And then you have the DPS issue. So instead of saving time on my time save split, I lost a little bit of time here. But I was still holding on to the hope that I could maybe implement a lot of the practice that I've been doing and maybe get a gold split
7 supers, not bad.
and maybe hang on to something. My best possible time here was a 40.52, which is only 15 seconds off of my PB at the time here of 41.07. So I knew it was slightly unlikely, but yeah, we'll see how it pans out. There's a lot of things happening on the screen right now. It's really hard to explain all of them. But let me just explain this room quick because this is a kind of interesting room, and then I'll kind of just progress with the rest of the run here. So what we do here is lay a power bomb at a very specific spot to where these blocks right there stay. What I do next is I break out of spin, and this has to do with Samus's hitbox. So I'm breaking out of spin at a specific time, which pushes Samus into these blocks very specifically. And that allows me to jump, take damage from this enemy, and then I have to use the iframes, invulnerability frames, to skip past this enemy there that jumps, and then do a short charge like I explained earlier, and then in combination, do a mock ball here, which is when you maintain run speed in ball form with blue suit. So you can go through all these blocks in one nice motion without having to use bombs. So this is one of the harder rooms of the game for sure. Not the hardest, but there's a lot of technical things happening. And people often ask questions about this room and how it's done. And yeah, kind of a neat room. This room is very specific. So the way I lay this bomb and the way I pan the camera is all by design. This jump here, everything I do is by design because those enemies, which are called key hunters, are moving right away when the screen loads. So you need to move Samus in such a way to where they adjust off screen and then they go into specific positions in the room. So if you're off even just a little bit, you can mess up the manip. And every enemy here does 50 damage. So it's very easy to die in the escape here. Luckily, I had a bunch of health, so I did a more difficult strat, which saves like 1.5 seconds to try to make up some of this time lost and hang on to the run. But yeah, I luckily got that. That's called the ball boost. Once again, a lot of those things are just based on the start time of the room. So when you enter the room, it's all based on just the clock, and you have to get there at a specific time. Some enemies in this game will only move when they are on camera. However, a lot of the rooms that we do, enemies are moving instantly when the room loads. So we kind of have to do it in such a way to where we get there at a very specific time.
Okay, pretty good.
Yeah, so that Ridley fight, Delicious, was 78, I believe, and the best I've gotten in a run is a 68. So I want to try to achieve a 72-second fight or so on average. And obviously I did not do that, and I lost quite a bit of time. So now this is when we go to Kraid. If you're new to the game and you want to do this route, one way that you can do it is go to Kraid second. However, we go to Kraid third because of one very important reason. Well, two. But the main reason is Mini Kraid here. Mini Kraid drops super missiles. Those super missiles are absolutely mandatory for Meridia. And then the drops that you get from Kraid as well can help in a significant way. You see me shooting off screen right now. There are particles off screen that create lag, so I try to destroy those. So I listen to the game and hear if they are destroyed. And then I base kind of what I do from there. My resources at this point were excellent. And my segment here was also really amazing. I had almost gotten a gold split there. And at this point, my best possible time hadn't changed after 3 minutes. So I knew that we were on a good run at that point. But this is one of the harder segments of the game. I had lost a good portion of time in my PB, but anything can happen. There's a couple really, really important tricks that if you miss them, the run is essentially done. So I try to just save some time by doing riskier strats here. I believe I skipped farming. Just a combination of some of the tech that I described earlier, mock ball damage boost. But yeah, at this point of the game, also it's about resource management. My resources were perfect.
Good enough.
So my health was perfect. My missiles and my super missiles were absolutely perfect. They can't be any better than that. So yes, I was quite excited to see that. Yeah, and I know Kraid died instantly, chat. I'm sorry. I wish I could kind of explain how that works. But he doesn't have a second phase. That's it. You don't get to see the Kraid DLC, I suppose. So coming up next is the mini boss Batsuun. And Bot Swoon has 4 different patterns that can happen. So you have to determine right away what pattern. Basically, if whatever pattern you see, you have to adjust. So I do a setup here to where these X factors are utilized. All 4 of them hit on the opening. And then I determine what I do next based off the pattern. I see Bot Swoon gave me a pattern to where he goes down left. So then I can figure out what to do next. So then I shoot all of my super missiles. I got quite lucky with super missile drops as well. So I knew that this segment at this point was going quite well. And then this trick is it's not particularly hard unless you're very nervous, which I was. You have to do very fast wall jumps, a very clean ledge grab right there. You have to shoot the door before you ledge grab, or else you hit the door as you run. You will run into the door and it won't work. So you have to shoot the door as you are ledge grabbing. And at this point, I have about 7 frames remaining, or at this point, I have 7 frames. So if I was 7 frames off or so, this would not have worked. So then you have to do a very specific shine spark to where you bypass not only the ceiling there, but you also bypass that ledge right behind Samus. So getting this was also significant. And then I knew, since I had time to save, it certainly was something. It was potential of some sort. Dragon is the final boss out of all 4 of the statue bosses. You're gonna see me do a setup here, utilizing X factors once again, where I try to hit as many as I can. And so I do it off screen. This is called rain dance. So you kind of dance around, moving the particles in a certain way. And then Bot Swoon has, or Dragon has a couple things that she can do here. So once you open up the fight, this is the first portion. I look at Bot Swoon's body and I see that Bot Swoon is red. So I've kind of memorized the shades of color. So I know with this, Phantoon has 2,550 HP remaining. And then I determined based off of that, okay, so this is a 50-50. Dragon will either swoop or Dragon will goop. And when Dragon fires the little goopy things that grab you, and then Dragon grabs you. So I see that it's a swoop. I know that if I fire that amount of ammo, that I've done enough damage to where I can kill Dragon with 1 more shine spark. Dragon then this is another 50-50. And then you finish the fight with a shine spark. And then you get this, which is blue suit. I don't know exactly how this works, but if you kill Dragon with a shine spark, this can happen. This is a result. And what we do with this is we make it back the other way with that difficult trick that I was talking about. So I utilize double bomb jumping to get to the top of the door as the babies are coming to, bury their mother or whatever they do. And then by the time I get to the top, the door is then unlocked. What are we talking about, Zenny? So then that allows me to get across just like that. And then at this point, this is another extremely resource-heavy part of the game to where you need to take into consideration everything. Health, missiles, super missiles, not really power bombs, but so with 83, 3, and 1, you have to make a decision coming up on what to farm. So there are bugs. There are 3 bugs that you can farm. Every farm has a 40% chance of a super missile. And you have to make a decision because every farm is an extra 2 seconds or so.
Almost.
The first farm is 1 second extra. Every farm beyond that is about 2 seconds. So I know that my health is low and that I could die in the first Metroid room.
Gonna do a quick one farm just
if I don't get any HP. So my decision is to lose the 1 second to potentially gain enough health to survive and possibly another super missile, which are 40% chance. So I lay the power bomb. I see that I got 2 super missiles, which was great, and 1 HP, which is still a little bit scary. Being under 1 E-tank is slightly nerve-wracking because of the potential that you'll see in Torian. So this is pretty much do or die. It's kind of you kind of just go all in because you know that if you don't take these risks, you're not going to PB. That's how optimized to a degree that these segments are if you want to actually PB. I made kind of a little mess up here, which did cost me some time. It's about 2 seconds, but overall, my end game was very good, and I was very happy with how it went. Yeah, people always ask about refilling at the ship. That is a loss of 20 seconds or 30 seconds, so that's never the answer. Never refill at the ship.
Not the end of the world.
Unless you're new, that's fine. My heart rate was quite high at this point. I was nervous. So one thing I will explain when we get there is a new Metroid skip. So if you're familiar with the game, the Metroid skip hasn't really changed since around 2013. That's when it was found, and it really hasn't adjusted since then. So I can always fast forward this. This is not important. So yeah, turn on Ice and Spazer again, so we can freeze the Metroids. And this is the first room you'll see what I'm talking about when I say that you could potentially die. So I need to kind of move in such a way to where these Metroids here, these 2, follow me. Luckily, I got the manip properly, grouping all 3, and I had excellent resources at this point, so I knew I was good to go. What you do in these rooms is all determined on basically your Metroid room 1 and 2. Since I got good resources, I knew that Metroid room 3, I could do a strat which saves a second and a half or so. So you dip into the lava, you use the super missiles, which generally you wouldn't. You would group up the Metroids. But I took a riskier strat, and I used missiles to finish the 4th Metroid room. And as you can see, I have 15 and 10. Like I said, you need at least, you need over 300 health to survive Mother Brain. You need 15 missiles, and you need 10 supers. And I got everything maxed out, which is absolutely what you need to complete the run. Now, this skip is a very new find in the community, which saves around 4 seconds. So generally, we would jump around the baby counterclockwise. Now, I believe it was a dare. I can't remember how it came about, but someone found that, I wonder if you can do it clockwise. And that's when this skip was found. This is the result of optimizing thousands of attempts probably I've done. And that saves about 4 seconds over the other skip that we used to do. So it's extremely significant. Here I'm being very careful because if I fire a super missile improperly, the game is done, but I am taking risks, so I'm angling the door. This is Zebetite skip. This skip is also one of the more important things in this. I'm going for a down back skip, which is the harder version. And if I miss this, it's just instantly a loss. So you need to do something called a down back into the corner of the Zebetite. When you skip that, all of the other Zebetites despawn. So that allows us to only get 15 and 10. or else we'd need a lot. So at this point, that was I don't know if that was the best Torian to date, but it's really close to the best Torian. And we have the new Metroid skip to thank for that. So I got a gold split. I was quite nervous. I knew that sub 41 was potential, but Mother Brain is a massive issue. Mother Brain takes 60 shots. On the 46th shot, Mother Brain starts a catch-up phase. That catch-up phase will determine whether or not you sometimes PB or not, because there are really awful things that can happen. You want to be hitting your 60th shot right before Mother Brain does another set of attacks. Unfortunately, in my PB here, Mother Brain gave me kind of an unfavorable catch-up, which led me to lose, which led to about a 2-second loss or so, I want to say. Yeah, so one thing is I cannot dip below, I cannot lose 40 HP. I cannot lose 39 HP, because coming up is something called the Rainbow Beam. Rainbow Beam does 3 tanks. If I don't have at least 301 HP, I will die during that attack.
Is that a good thing?
So I luckily finished with enough.
I actually don't
And
know.
yeah, now it's basically kind of just a waiting game. I'll get to everyone's favorite part when, you know, the baby attacks. Thank you, baby. You're welcome for me rescuing you from Metroid 2. And this is Rip baby here.
That's not terrible.
It's kind of nice to have a little bit of a downtime here, because if you're on pace at this point, or you're on a PB run, your nerves are through the roof. My heart rate is probably 150 the entire time in this whole section, or higher. And this can lose quite a bit of time if you're not very careful. So I'm jumping in such a way, and I'm just close enough to where it reduces probably the most amount that you can reduce of lag. So you kind of have to alternate shots, like you see with angles, straightforward shots. And missing a shot can lose you quite a bit of time because of the way the cycle, there's kind of a cycle with how Mother Brain steps backwards. I did miss a shot, so it wasn't very, very good, but overall, it wasn't the worst. The escape is also terrible. I've lost runs here because I've fallen. Yeah, it's pretty awful feeling. But pretty much, it's just go mode. I do not save the animals, of course.
Are you still pretty nervous at this point? Or?
Yeah, I'm shaking at this point. Because let me rewind real quick. This right here, this wall jump shot, if you don't shoot pretty much right away, that hitbox of that pirate is quite large. So then you fall all the way back down. That is not correct. Hold on. I don't know why it's going over that, but you fall all the way down, which I've done before in runs, and it cost me some pretty significant milestone PBs before. But. And then yeah, basically you just try to tighten up your movement. Shine Spark here is called Behemoth Spark. It allows us to clip through that bottom platform. I don't know how it works. It has to do with crouching, I believe. And then this is one of the more technical movement-based rooms. I was just trying to go for it. It can lose you quite a bit of time if you fall or if you're not particularly clean. And this is also incredibly annoying. Real quick, this theme here, we determine on what strat to do based on this point on. So if I get hit here, I try to run as far as I can, and then I jump and morph in a very specific spot. If I get hit later, it's a different strat entirely with Steam. So then I have to determine what to do. I got very lucky, and that Steam up top bounced me all the way to the door. which was extremely favorable. Taking Steam there is kind of a bummer, but yeah, it happens. That's kind of the name of the game. You get steamed, and you just hope for the best. And yeah, that was the run. And I apologize if I skipped over a lot of things people wanted to see or me talk about. There is so much nuance going on. It's really difficult. I almost need another commentator here with me if we were trying to explain every little thing. But I hope you enjoy the speedrun, and I hope to see you around the Super Metroid speedrunning community, and hopefully it was a fun watch. So
Yeah, thank you so much, Oates, for coming on and breaking that down for us. I just want to give you a moment to shout out, what you're up to, what's next for this game for you, and anything else you might want to shout out.
yeah, so my goal has always been a secret, and I've kept it that way because sometimes that added pressure or expectation can kind of distract you from your ultimate end goal. But I am still grinding this game, and I am still going for times which I didn't think I'd ever go for. I'll just say that. So I am grinding this exact run. Still quite a while until I hit my goal, and I'm not going to stop until I get it. So you can follow me at twitch.tv/oatsandgoats, and you can expect to see more Metroid content like this for a bit. And then after I achieve my goal here, we're going to just have some fun, relax with some more probably casual Metroid stuff. And yeah, we'll see where it takes us. So.
Awesome. Well, thank you again so much for coming on. Chat, we are going to take a short little break, but make sure you stay tuned because after this, we have Void on to showcase their new PB of DKC 101%. Stay tuned. Hey, all you cats and gamers. Welcome back to Victory Lap, the GDQ hotfix show that highlights recent world record and personal best runs and the runners who made them happen. I'm your host, Nuclear, and tonight I've got with me Void to showcase their most recent PB in DKC 101%. Super excited about this one. But before we get started, just a couple of announcements. If you're watching on YouTube, be sure to press that like button on this video and subscribe to the channel. Also, go to twitch.tv/GamesDoneQuick if you're interested in looking at our live content starting weeknights at 7 p.m. Eastern and weekends at 1 p.m. Eastern. Also, this Sunday, December 18th, we are celebrating the anniversaries of Final Fantasy 1 and 5 with runs of both games, all starting at 1 p.m. Eastern. Make sure to check that out. And with that being said, let's hand things over to Void and get into this run.
Yo, rolling in gamers. Hope you guys are doing well. Happy Thursday evening/night. So yeah, I'm Void, and I'm gonna be breaking down my most recent PB in DKC 101%. The final time was 44:49, and this PB was actually like a long time coming. I hadn't PB'd in this category in, I want to say, like 3.5 years, and I really like this category. This category is not really super well known as far as, DKC categories go, but it's definitely one of my favorites. It's not like as prominent as All Stages. All Stages is considered the main category for this, but nonetheless, still very impressive. So I'm gonna be clicking this play button right there. You can see, past Void right there. This is me. Kind of smiling right now, but that might be about to change. Alright, so rolling in 2-1-1, and the number one thing you want to do in DKC speedrunning is kill off Donkey because he's slow and bad, and he's only really used for setting up glitches. And the main thing that separates 101% from other DKC categories is that you have to not only beat all the levels, but you also have to find the bonus rooms. When you find the bonus rooms, it is actually faster to fail them. As such, Madge. Fail the bonuses and get the hell out of here, basically. Most levels will have between 1 and 3 bonuses, but some levels in this game do go above that threshold. I guess I'll talk a little bit right now about the movement. Fastest way of moving in this game is rolling, and ideally rolling. Excuse me. Ideally, rolling through as many enemies as possible. The speed cap with Diddy, his hit after you roll through 4 enemies, but yeah, you basically want to be rolling as much as possible because even a roll without rolling through enemies will save time over not rolling. Yeah, where's the balloon gonna land? Where is it gonna land? Ah, dang, I missed it. Unfortunate, but you do save time when you fail bonuses. Save a couple seconds. You basically save the time that you would lose by collecting the prize. And since bonuses in this game compared to DKC2 and DKC3 do not really give rewards that add to the game progression or anything of the sort, you can just disregard them. This is a pretty tight bonus to optimize. It makes use of crawl space zips a little bit. I'll be talking about those a little bit more later. So yeah, this is going to be like a good example of you getting a lot of speed right there with rolling through all those Kremlings. Oh, right there. Actually, let me go back right there real quick. So, yeah. All right. So, what I ended up doing right there was a barrel boost. There are a couple barrel boosts that are done in this run. And they're frame perfect, actually. So right there, I ended up jumping off that ledge on the right frame, and that gave me extra momentum to get to the bonus door. Saves very minimal time, but for this one specifically, but there are some barrel boosts later in the run that do save much more. I'll be pointing those out. Alright, we're out of here. Worth noting, when you do complete a stage with all the bonus areas found, the exclamation point will show up next to the level's name on the overworld. But the cool thing about water stages in this game is that, specifically for this run, is that they do not have bonus rooms that you have to find, so you can basically just do the levels the same way you would in any other DKC category. Like, the strats do not change for those levels. And on guard, the swordfish is the fastest way of moving through the levels, so you really want to grab him as fast as possible and get going with him. And I was really focused right there. Alright. This level right there, there is a shortcut that you can access at the very top of the level at the start. And it saves a lot of time. Gonna go for an extendo right there. Do a small wiggle right here and get into that barrel from the far right in order to really manipulate the next barrel that you get into to get into it quicker. Alright, so I was talking about barrel boosts earlier, so I think I get this barrel boost right there. So I'm going to be barrel boosting off of this ledge right here, and it's going to land me on the tree afterwards, and... Or rather, no, it's not going to land me on the tree, it's going to like propel me, and then I'm going to be using that momentum to land on the Kremling, which will bounce me up to the tree, and it will save me about a second. Assuming I can do it properly. I did. Yeah, that's frame perfect. Get used to frame perfect tricks in this run because there are a lot of them. This one, pretty minor for World 1, but later on there are a lot of skips that require you to be pretty precise. Stay hydrated, by the way. Not much else to say about boss fights in this game. They're pretty boring. Jump on them 5 times. oversized beaver.
Do have a question in chat asking, why is it 101% instead of 100%?
You know what? That's a good question, and I wish I had the answer to that, but I do not. I want to say it's like a cute gimmick that Rare did, because like in DKC2 the completion percentage is 102%, and in DKC3 it's 103%. But like this game kind of set that trend for the rest of the trilogy, but I don't really know why Rare decided to do it as such. If I were to guess, it was 100%, and then they decided to put that bonus within a bonus in the run later on. I'll point that one out. It's a pretty slimy bonus to find. Very well hidden, especially if you're playing this game casually for the first time. But, that's pure speculation by me. Alright, so this level is actually like one of the toughest levels in World 2. Right there, really want to make sure that... go back a little bit. Yeah, right there. So when I grab that barrel, like that's actually a pretty common mistake that I've made. Like you grab that barrel and you want to get in between that ledge right there and this bee, and you want to be facing left. And I've had it before that I've gotten caught on that ledge and I've turned facing right like a bit too early, and I've lost the barrel on that bee, which is pretty much run over when that happens. But thankfully, this run ends up PBing, so that doesn't happen. The crawl space zips here are going to come into play, so you want to basically hold down and get into the crawl space, and then at a later point you initiate a roll, and if you're in the proper position, the crawl space will basically put you forward, and that does save a little bit of time. Grabbing this tire and getting into the last bonus right there. I haven't talked yet about warp barrels. So Stop and Go Station has a warp barrel at the start of the level. You just hold left, and that puts you at a later point in the stage. There was one earlier in Minecart Carnage. Thankfully, in Minecart Carnage, there are no bonuses that you have to deal with. So you grab the warp barrel and you complete the level ASAP, and thank God for that, because Minecart Carnage is a pretty atrocious level to optimize. But for this level, you do have to get back in and collect the 2 bonus rooms that are there. I'm gonna pause right there because this is a really, really tricky roll, and also, as you probably noticed, rock crocs do not damage you when you roll through them, despite them having an active hitbox. Kind of an oversight from the game developers. So what I do here is I land on the ledge, very precisely on the ledge right there, and I initiate a roll. It's actually like a pretty tricky positioning technique right there. I have overshot that jump several times, and when that happens, well, you just die because you're gonna end up right here. But that doesn't happen here. You roll, then you jump, you roll again through rock croc, and what that saves is right there. There are 2 clap traps here. Normally there are 3, so the third one basically despawns by doing that roll. So not only is that roll fast, but you end up despawning this guy, and you do save some lag from that roll. It's a very tough strat, and it saves very minimal time, but I'm good, so I went for it, basically. Alright, so I talked about, I think I talked about frame perfect tricks earlier, but to elaborate a little bit on like frame perfect tricks, bonus skips are a huge part of this run, and a lot of them are frame perfect. This one is a bit more lenient, but what you basically want to do is you want to open the bonus or get into the bonus, and on the same frame as you do, you want to pause your game and select out of the stage. You can start select out of a level that you've already completed. And if you do it properly, then you can avoid getting into the bonus. And you do save a bunch of time from doing that. Like the smaller bonus skips, like this one that I just did, saves about like 3 or 4 seconds, but the longer ones, they can save upwards of 10 seconds. And there are a lot of those bonus skips in this run. So that was the first one. The World 2 bonus skips are actually pretty consistent. Right there, that was another Ward Barrel that I just got. You thought it was based Donkey only Ward Barrel. Me making weird noises. Funny, by the way. Awesome, awesome. Very interesting to like rewatch you on stream. But yeah, anyways, get the first bonus, get Diddy back, because right there I'm gonna be deboosting on the millstone right there to get into the second bonus and have Diddy in front. The millstones in this game, same deal as the rock crocs in Stop and Go Station. You can roll through them and not take damage. This is what I'm gonna do right there. Grab this TNT barrel and go for another bonus skip. There you go. And now, map warp's coming up. So, what map warp is on the World 1 overworld, you see those corners on the overworld. So like there's a corner here, there's a corner here, and there's a corner here. So if you press a face button on your controller on the same frame as you are on one of those corners, the game stops you for 1 frame on each of those corners if you only have 1 sprite on the overworld. So like either you're one Kong or you are the funky plane, as I am right there. Where is my cursor? Okay, there you go. There it is. So like right now, I'm only 1 sprite on the overworld. I'm the funky plane. And so the game is going to stop me for 1 frame when I am over this corner right here. This is the one I'm shooting for 101%. For all stages, you would be shooting for this corner in the bottom right there. But I'm playing 101, not all stages. So, get it second try. Anyways, so congrats on being cringe. Which is not bad at all. And now I'm in World 3. So, yeah, map warp, basically, the game thinks that if you're stopped on the overworld, that means that you are on a location that you can enter, like a level or whatever. And for whatever reason, most locations in World 1 send you to this level in World 3, Orangutan Gang. And this is the level that has the most bonuses in the run. It has 5 bonuses. So I'm just going to do some backtracking with Espresso to get into the first bonus in this level. Hope it goes well. So the thing about map warp, so what I did is I ended up skipping the World 2 boss. That's like a neat part of 101% that is not seen in any other category. So in 101... you do have to beat all the levels, but you do not have to beat all the bosses. The bosses do not count towards percentage for whatever reason. The only one that does is K. Rool. He's the final boss. So in theory, you could get 101% with only fighting K. Rool as the final boss. But that would be... I don't even know if that would be possible. Probably. Because this game is like broken enough that, yeah. Yeah, 5th and final bonus. And we're out of here. Young Daddy. But right there, I swapped the donkey before mounting on guard. I swear I'm not doing it to, be suggestive or whatever. It's because it's faster. You do want to be donkey in the lead for the boss fight coming up. It's going to be a little faster. They dropped heat for Rebecca. Did they now? As you can see, exclamation mark at the end of the level, which indicates that I got all the bonuses, even though, like I said earlier, water stages do not have bonuses in them. So yeah, the bee fights. Throw 5 barrels at her. Oh, it's the last chance sprinting. I see. Pretty neat, pretty neat. That was pretty good. So yeah, I would be done with World 3 normally, except that I have to re-enter World 3 to complete the levels and find the bonuses that I haven't found. This warp barrel right there is a donkey-only warp barrel. So now I'm being put at the end of the level. We'll do a little bit of backtracking, get this barrel to open this bonus, and then complete the stage. And then I was like, alright, well, D-Man now stole all of the swords, and he was my only mod for like, what, a couple months? Alright, this is a cool movement coming up right there. So I'm gonna be jumping right there. Like I'm gonna like land with Diddy. I'm gonna walk forward a little bit. I'm gonna jump towards this Neki, but I'm not gonna bounce on him, nor am I gonna take damage on him. I'm literally just gonna clip through him and then bounce on the tire. And yeah, it's gonna save me a little bit of time from having to basically kill the Neki and then propel the tire forward so that I can get into that bonus. I wish Luke gave us Arctic Zip. Final bonus right here. You can get a bonus skip from this, but it's one of the harder bonus skips to get. I actually fucking need an emote for Void Lore, you're right. Right there, another warp barrel. Put me at the end of the stage. I have to re-enter Treetop Town for the 2 bonus stages. Okay, so I should talk about this a little bit. So something I haven't mentioned quite yet because like I've just been saying so many things and I've been just like information dropping so much since the start of this run, but one of the fastest ways of moving in this game, or like one of the best forms of movement in this game, is the extended roll, also called the extendo. And what that does is it basically allows you to extend your roll forehead. But no, you basically roll through an enemy, and then you don't want to hold Y. When you roll through an enemy, you do want to release Y and then repress it after your roll. And that's going to give your roll an extended length to it. And so that's what I'm going to be doing here. So I'm going to roll through this beaver, and I'm going to be extending my roll a little further. So like right there is where I am repressing Y. And then I'm going to be using that forward momentum, that extra distance that I got from the roll to get into that barrel at the start, assuming I jump in the proper spot, which is about right here. I use this the start of this bridge as a visual cue. Like I want to say like right here is a good position for jumping off of this roll. I get into that barrel, and now I'm going to be doing a bonus skip. So I press start right there as the barrel shoots me out of it. You can notice pretty easily when you play through the run yourself. The barrel is going to shoot you, and you're going to be pausing at the same time. Like you're going to have the 2 distinct sounds overlapping with each other, which is a pretty good tell of you getting the trick, actually. Nice. So I got it. Saving myself a few seconds in the process. Now I have to re-enter Treetop Town and go for the second bonus. This is actually like a pretty tricky stage, all things considered, in this category. This right there was another extended roll to get into that barrel. Another extended roll right there. Another one right here to clear that gap. Nice. And yeah, there was a bonus down there. I did get the bonus skip. You guys didn't see anything, but like trust me, there was a bonus down there. Alright, so right there, I'm gonna be setting up for the super jump roll. So right there, let me just go back a little bit. The quirky sidekick, probably. Right there, what I'm going to be doing to set up the super jump roll is first off set up the super jump. So the way you set up the super jump is you want to take damage and you want to have the Kong that you do damage with leave the screen from the top. So like right there, I have Diddy in front. I'm going to take damage with Diddy and Diddy's going to leave the screen from the top, as you can see right there. So like Diddy left the screen from the top. I'm going to grab DK. Grab the DK barrel, get Diddy back. Get on this rope, take damage again. And now, after I take damage, I'm gonna hold B. And the next time I land on an enemy, for as long as I'm holding B, I'm gonna get as much height as I want. So that's step one of the trick, that's the super jump. So now, what I wanna do is combine the super jump with the jump roll. The jump roll is a frame perfect trick. I've talked about frame perfect tricks earlier, like bonus skips are one form of frame perfect tricks in this run. The jump rolls are another big part of it. So you want to jump, or not jump, you want to initiate a roll on the same frame as I were to bounce on this second Kremling right there. So I'm going to be using my invincibility frames and just position myself really well. And I'm going to be initiating a roll right there. And if I do it properly, it's going to combine the effect of the super jump and the jump roll at the same time. And this is what happens. So I'm cartwheeling in the air. And the same properties of gaining as much, like a lot of speed from rolling through a lot of enemies do apply there. So that's why I went back a little bit to roll through additional enemies. And now I've made it to that bonus. So yeah, that trick does save quite a bit of time. This is like the first like big reset point in this category, I'm gonna say. I'm glad I was able to get that. What's up, Luffy? How are you? Like, usually if I don't get that trick in a run, like, it's not an instant reset, but, like, I end up losing, like, at least 15 seconds on my splits. And, yeah, it's a little depressing to see that time loss, not gonna lie. Right there, I'm grabbing the DK barrel because I want to use it to open this bonus. This bonus actually has a pretty decent reward at the end. It has Espresso. And it's actually much faster to clear the level with Espresso, so very worth to get through the end of the bonus for that particular instance. Yeah, it's the dude. Okay, I get it. Yeah, I should read Sailor Moon. Yeah, not too much else to say about the rest of this level. The Temple Tempest is actually like a really insane level when you don't use Espresso, but Espresso like does facilitate it so much. In other categories, you wouldn't even use Espresso because it would be slower to actually open the bonus and then get to the end of the bonus to get Espresso. But in this category, because you have to open the bonus in the first place, it might as well take a little bit of a detour and grab Espresso.
It's probably nice after having all those levels where you're frame perfecting and extendoing and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's kind of a nice break to just be riding Espresso. Definitely. So, yeah, 1707 for my World 4 entrance is definitely like amongst my best times that I've ever had for this category. So pretty happy with that. Pretty excited for the rest of the run. Basically, like any run that I have that gets to World 4 with that Forest Frenzy super jump roll that I showcased, like it's like a pretty good run for me. So like it always like gives me a good morale boost whenever that happens. There are a lot of bonus skips. So an extendo right there. Get to the bottom of the stage a little bit faster than just basically getting in those barrels at the top and then shooting yourself down. There's a shortcut right there. Save yourself a big headache from the barrel maze at the end. And now I'm gonna re-enter the stage and I'm gonna go for another bonus skip, the one at the start of this level. And this is one of the lengthier bonus skips to get. That one saves about 10 seconds. And I get it. So like big reaction here because it's like probably like the first run in like a few weeks where I have both like the SJR and Forest Frenzy and the bonus skip in this stage. And it's like kind of like the 1-2 punch that kind of not like kills a lot of my runs, but kind of like brings them down, you know, and brings them down a notch. But like now it's like, okay, like it's serious time, you know, serious time kind of deal. And while I was talking about that, like I had to basically clip the ceiling and get into a warp barrel that is normally supposed to be donkey only, but because I can clip through the ceiling, I can't ignore that clause. Isn't that why you posted the thing? Gimmick of the stage, the red ropes push you down, and the blue ropes push you up. Very nice rope climbing right there at the end. It's actually a lot trickier than it looks. The new chainer stuff. Re-entering this level to go for the last bonus skip. Right there. I do not get the bonus skip, unfortunately, but that's fine. Because in my head, I was like, I got the bonus skip in 4-1. I'm gonna take that like time save and run with it, you know? Like, I'm not gonna ask too much of the game. Nice extendo right there. So this level and other categories, you would grab Espresso at the start of the stage, but Espresso you can grab in this bonus as well, so it's actually a little bit better to ignore the detour that you would normally take at the start of the stage to grab Espresso and just go for Espresso right there in that bonus. Yeah, a little bit like gonna like repeat a little bit what you said earlier, News. Like it's like relaxing to have like Espresso a little bit, but at the same time, in this stage, if you lose Espresso in the wrong spot, like you can just straight up die because you just like fly over like giant chasms all the way through. And if you take damage in this game while riding an animal buddy, you just get like such a knockoff out of it. It's kind of ridiculous.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, that puts that into perspective that it's not... you make it look so easy, Void.
Yeah. I have to, right?
Yeah.
Not too much to say about this level. This is like the longest water stage in the run. There's this one thing that runners like to kind of... I don't want to say like challenge or go for, but like basically the optimal way of getting... this level, or like completing this level, or I should say like a good tell. That's the good way of saying it. Like a good tell of like how well you've done in this level regards the number of pianos you hear at the end of it. So like you complete the stage, the song will loop to a certain part of aquatic ambience, and there will be pianos at that part of the song. If you do the level well enough, you can like be fast enough that you won't hear the loop back to the piano notes. But I think you guys will be able to hear it anyway, yes. So I'm gonna skip a little bit over it. There you go. Like the most relevant piece of tech in the stage involves basically cutting corners. So like the better you can cut the corners, the more time you end up saving. So this stage, Torchlight Trouble, you end up not grabbing squawks at the start because squawks creates a ton of lag. And it's just not very useful in general. You can see the level like just fine. And also you get squawks anyways when you enter the first bonus. So, hey, it is what it is. But yeah, this is one of the shorter stages, but it's also one of like the toughest. Ton of lag right there, you were probably able to notice. Me shit less right there. That jumping over that mincer right there has cost me a few runs. Like if you jump too early, you end up taking damage from the mincer, and because you're holding the barrel needed to open the last bonus, then it's effectively over at that point. Road Bridge Rumble, another pretty tough level. This is really where like as soon as you get past Croctopus Chase, that's where like the difficulty of the game really ramps up. Like a lot of the stages after Croc will be very intense platforming wise. Lots of tire rolls in this level in particular. Tire rolls are a little tricky and timing wise. A tire roll specifically that I just did earlier to cross that gap, we call it Synthesis. You can find the history on the lore on twitch.tv/Tylenol. Shouts to him. And now we made it to the end of the stage. Actually, something worth noting here at the very end of this stage. So you get kicked out of the bonus. So what I want to do right there is hold left on the D-pad as I get out of that bonus. And this is somehow gonna bait this army into attacking you to the left. So like he's gonna go left instead of going right. If he goes right, it's kind of gonna mess up your strat. So like you hold left as you get into the bonus or out of the bonus to bait the army out of the way, and then you start holding right so you can land closer to the platform, at which point you can initiate a roll. And then get under those beats like that. Actually, a neat strat. I remember finding that forever ago. Like one of the first 101 runs that I did, or when I was basically learning this category. Oh, there's collision up there. Somehow.
Oh my god.
So it gives you a little bit of a more optimal hit. Alright. So I'm gonna stop right there because I wanna like marvel at the fact that this World 4 exit time is literally my best World 4 exit time ever. This is like 4 seconds ahead of world record, I want to say, at that point. So I was like kind of, yeah, see, like I'm kind of feeling myself right there. So I was like, okay, neat. I have a good run right there. So let's keep going. So Ordrum Alley is the stage that has the second most number of bonuses in the entire run with 4, and it's also the stage that has that bonus within a bonus that I mentioned earlier. It's gonna be right there. So that bonus that I'm gonna be opening, I want to win it, but I want to win it in this specific way, which is gonna give me this barrel, and I'm gonna jump in this door. Then there's the bonus within a bonus. So now you guys know. And apply this to your casual Donkey Kong Country 101% playthroughs. Yeah, I definitely had some slop in this level, but that's okay. Like, this level is hard enough already, you know? You guys are gonna see, like, after I'm done with this bonus right there. The ending of the stage, pretty impressive, but also very, very dangerous looking. So those oil drums with the flames coming out of, the hitbox for those flames is only at the center of the barrel, and only when the flame is fully extended out. So you can actually trick the game into getting those rolls off of the tin cans. Alright, so there's a lot going on right there. This warp barrel is the last warp barrel in the entire run. And it's kind of nice that it's like in this stage, because this stage is a pretty long auto-scroller normally. I'm going to obviously have to re-enter this stage afterwards to get the bonuses. But yeah, I'm going to go here. I'm going to swap, and I'm going to be jumping over this Mankey pretty carefully. I do not want to bounce on the Mankey, and I do not want to take damage from this Mankey. The reason being is I'm going to be attempting a pseudo bonus skip, so I'm going to swap back to Diddy, and I'm going to enter this bonus at the same time, or roughly at the same time as this Mankey throws this barrel, because I want to take damage from this barrel. And what this does is it cancels my shooting out of the bonus. So now I found the bonus room because I entered the barrel, but I do not have to go through the bonus room itself. So I still get credit for completing the bonus stage. Or finding it, I should say. And so now, this is usually the part of the run where I ask my chat to post prayer emojis. So if you have prayer emojis in the chat room to post, like, please do so. Because I mentioned jump rolls earlier, jump rolls being frame perfect. So this is the first big jump roll in the run. This is actually where like the run can very easily die if you do not hit a jump roll, because the jump roll in the first half of the stage, if you get it first try, it takes about 35 seconds. So you have several attempts at a jump roll for the first half. I think you have like 4 attempts. And yeah, let's keep watching. So attempt number 1. Too early. Attempt number 2. Too early again. Attempt number 3. Too late. So at that point, I'm kind of like, crap, dude. Like, is this really like where the run ends? I only have one more shot, and it's this Necky right there coming up. Taking damage from the Necky, and as soon as I land, I want to start holding right. And shouts to Lovebird, actually. Lovebird is the world record holder for pretty much every single Donkey Kong Country category out there, and they pointed me towards this backup that saves a little bit of time over the other backup that I used to go for, and I do get it.
Wow. Is that super nerve-wracking for you, knowing that you're on a good pace here and you have to nail this here? Or
yeah, it was nerve-wracking. I was like, man, if I don't get this jump roll, then like on my best pace ever, then yeah, like the run dies. There's nothing I can do about it, you know, like it's just like time to move on, I guess. But yeah, it's like it's like exacerbated too, like, because you have 4 attempts at getting a jump roll for the first half, right? So it's like, if you miss all 4, then it feels kind of bad. Like, yes, jump rolls are frame perfect, but at the same time, like, you know, I've been doing them for so long.
That's such an incredible trick, too. Jeez.
Yeah. It's very impressive looking. Like, and it sounds difficult to pull off. It kind of is to some extent, but like it's always more impressive to like witness the runner pull off the jump roll as a viewer, I feel like, than like you as the runner like trying to pull off the jump roll, because like there's this pressure on you to actually get that time save. But yeah, this level right here, Elevator Antics, this level's pretty hard, but I'm almost done with it. Yo, Energy, what's up, gamer? There is a bonus at the start of the stage, and I do think I get the bonus skip for it. This is a bonus skip, actually. I think this is like one of the last one that got incorporated in the run. I think it's from the task, but basically, if you jump into the doorway and you pause on the same frame as you land on the ground, right there. Like you can actually tell like Diddy's sprite is going to be a little different from him landing on the ground than from when he's jumping and like going down airborne. And yeah, so it's actually pretty nice that I get that bonus skip, and I like immediately realize it too. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So now I have this jump roll in Trick Track Trek. Like the jump roll that I actually got in Trick Track, I haven't talked about it, but it's a pretty good backup to get because you skip having to go for the second jump roll, because the first 3 attempts would have you do a second jump roll later in the stage to jump roll into the second half to get to the bonus that I was able to get. But because I got that backup, I didn't need to go for the second jump roll. Like I could extend the first jump roll that I had basically all the way through. Also, On Guard doesn't take damage when you launch through mincers. Another quirky thing about this game. Kind of like akin to those Rock Crocs and Millstones hitboxes that I was talking about earlier. I am from Quebec, yes. I'm sure the accent gave it away. Alright, so there's actually a pretty cool thing coming up. So I'm swapping to Donkey right there, and I'm going to go for a trick that we call the minecart air roll glitch. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be taking damage on this Neki, and now I can actually roll through midair. It's actually a lot faster than riding the minecarts up until the end of the stage. Get into that bonus. How much time save of 2 jump rolls instead of last chance jump roll? So I think if I had gotten the 2 jump rolls, like optimal double jump roll in Trick Track Trek instead of the backup that I got, I probably would have saved an extra 10 seconds, give or take. I'm actually not 100% sure because it's very unlikely to get both jump rolls. I would consider myself pretty decent at this game, and I think throughout this grind, this 101% grind that I've done, I think I've only gotten the double jump roll and Trick Track like a handful of times. It's always easy in practice, you know? Speaking of easy in practice, Blackout Basement, this is a pretty tough level. This is one of my favorites in this game. Oh, I actually forgot that that happened. I think nerves kind of kicked in right there, and I was like, oh, whoops. Like, I thought I did a strat that I didn't do, so like, a little bit of slop right there, but I was able to catch myself pretty well. Can be doing the laundry. 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 Dude, I had a fucking heart attack there. So yeah, first bonus right there. I didn't get the extendo properly. Oh, actually, something worth noting. So this steel keg right there, you can actually only get the steel keg from entering this bonus. And if you exit this bonus and for whatever reason you're not paying attention and you're like holding right or whatever, then you miss unlocking the steel keg. And at that point, it's like, it feels pretty bad. It feels pretty bad to lose the run to like a mistake like that. And you know, I'm not saying that it happened to me before, but it kind of did. Thank you. Can't be doing the laundry, by the way. Yes. Once again, shout out to Town Hall. Not a whole lot to say about this boss fight. Just have to dispatch enemies pretty quick. It'd be like that, man. Does the cat you tied? Later in the fight, I'm actually going to be taking an intentional damage boost with Diddy because I do. It's actually faster to do that than to swap to Donkey. And then swap back when you enter Tanked Up Trouble, which is the first stage in World 6.
I feel like that's unfortunately a common theme in DKC games, that the boss fights are just not a lot going on.
No, yeah. This game in particular, like they do get better as the trilogy progresses, but in this game, like the bosses are so bad. Not that I mind, because I've always like really been attracted to like the sick platforming in this game more so than the boss fights. Like I was talking to that actually the other day on stream, that like I feel like the reason why I'm not like as interested at speedrunning Mega Man games as I am with DKC games is because like Mega Man games revolve a lot around fighting bosses. Whereas this game is more like, the bosses are kind of a joke, you know?
Yes.
Alright, so... Jump roll time. Again, this level is pretty infamous. It's the one level in the game that has the jump roll that saves the most time. So there's the spot that I just skipped where you can do a jump roll that saves... 55 seconds. So we call it Kremtut. I did not go for it this run. So right there, you usually do the jump roll right there off this Kremling and the corner of this platform. But the reason why it's so annoying and the reason why I did not go for it is because... Oh, let me select my video again. It's because, so once you hit the jump roll, you do want to wiggle between the two platforms. You want to stall here a little bit until the conveyor gets to a certain point so that you don't land on the conveyor, and then you can progress with the jump roll. And then after that, you also have to skip some bees. But yeah, I was like, the run is kind of insane. As you can see, like the splits are really green and I'm all about it. And I was like, I'm just going to go for the jump roll that I usually go for, which is Bird Tut. It doesn't save as much as Kremtut, but it still saves a good chunk of time, which is 43 seconds versus 55 seconds. So the setup that I do is right there. When I get to this corner of the track with the conveyor, I'm going to start holding right, get on this platform, get this fuel, and then land on the second green light of the conveyor, and then I kind of eyeball where the necky is going to be after the fact, and then I just go forward and press the button right there. And yes!
Okay. Yo!
It's not over yet. I can't be celebrating. I forgot I had a big reaction there too. Very nice. Alright, so here I'm doing a little bit of stalling because here's the thing about jump rolls is when you are in the jump roll state, the game will lower your height by 1 pixel every, I want to say like 256 frames or something like that, which is about like 4.5 seconds or something. And the reason why you want to do that is because when you're in a jump roll state, you're usually invulnerable to most enemies except the zingers. So me grabbing the N a little bit earlier told me that I was still too high, so I had to stall a little bit more. And like I said, like the pace was insane, so I didn't really want to risk taking damage to a zinger and losing the entire run. I'm gonna re-enter Tanked Up Trouble, and I'm gonna go for the bonus skip right there. Once again, right there. Another big reaction. Because this bonus skip is another bonus skip that saves a good chunk of time. It's similar to the 1 and 4-1, saves about 10 seconds. Heck Rambi, by the way. Yeah, I know exactly why that happened. I forgot. Dude, oh my my fucking god. I forgot that happened. So, Rambi is... He's a rhinoceros, but also he likes to kill my runs and make me mistakes. So, but this one, like, I'll actually take the blame for it. So, I landed too close to this beaver, but for whatever reason, like, Rambi was still able to detect the beaver, even though I was behind it. Like, right there. Oh, actually, no. Look at that. He triggered before I landed. So, yeah, I was too close to the beaver, basically. And so he gave this horn attack automatically. And I was not expecting that, so I took damage. But I was able to recover pretty quickly. A little bit of a time loss. Oh, nice emoji right there. Thank you to whoever did that in the chat as I did it. Or as the mistake happened. It's actually faster to go through this level with Rambi, but for that damage boost, the damage boost actually saves a good chunk of time, and it's not that much slower to like grab Rambi and navigate through the level with Rambi. Last bonus right there. You saw me jump on the beaver up to that ledge. Normally you would have to go through this ledge cave and either take damage from one of the mincers in there or just completely go through it to get access to the ledge. But able to skip that, saves a little bit of time. And now Misty Mine. Misty Mine here, we're going to be doing a variant of the super jump roll that I did earlier in Misty Mine. We called this the super free roll, or SFR, because we're good at naming tricks in the Donkey Kong community. And once again, setting up the super jump right there. But I'm going to be grabbing this rope. That's the difference. That's a major difference between a super jump roll and a super free roll. So you do grab this rope and you want to dismount the rope from below. And what that does is, I'm doing this while still holding B. And what that does is now I have the super jump state active, but I'm landed. And then after that, I can just initiate a roll and I'm going to be in super jump roll state, except that essentially what I've just done is maintained the super jump state through bouncing on an enemy, grabbing a rope, and then grounding myself. Like this. Now, just roll through a few enemies, gain a lot of speed. And I'm going to be releasing right there to make sure that I can get into the first bonus. It doesn't look like I covered much distance, but that SFR still saves like 10 seconds. So it's pretty useful. And doing the SFR through the entirety of Misty Mine, which you would normally do in all stages, for example, that saves 25 seconds. Like, this is a pretty tough level, pretty long as well. And yeah, the SFR really is a boon for runs. There used to be an SJR for this stage, but yeah, like eventually the SFR got discovered, and the opportunity cost for an SFR is like, I think, a second and a half over doing the SJR. So it's like very, very worth transitioning from the SJR to the SFR, especially considering how easy the SFR is compared to the SJR. I mean, it says it in the name, right? It's like the super free rolls. It's free. Free. Quotation marks. Anyways, Loopy Lights. This is the last level that has kind of like dark lightning, or not lightning, dark lighting. I can't speak English, by the way. Apologies. Second bonus in Loopy Lights. Right there, a few tire rolls. Tire rolls in the dark. I've lost a lot of runs to those tire rolls back in the day when I was... Specifically when I was playing this game on emulator. right. Now the final stage. Platform perils. This level definitely deserves being called the final level, and also like the hardest level in this game. Very tough stage. There is a jump roll here that I'm gonna be attempting right there. So I want to roll through this Neki that I just did, and then jump about where I did to really manipulate these armies into the proper position that I want them to be. So like I want the one to the left to go left and the one to the right to go right. And I'm going to be using the one to the right. So like I roll into the one dropping to recoil it and put it in the proper position for the jump roll. And then I'm going to be using the fact that I still have some iframes from recoiling off the army to attempt a jump roll. Right there. Except that I was too late. So, what that means is, aside from the fact that I'm losing time, now I have to actually play my butt off for the second half of this level. Because, like I said, this level is pretty tough. So, I'm just like kind of gonna let this IL speak for itself, really. You cannot kill the Great Crushers with anything else than barrels right there, especially like pretty tricky strat to go for. Alright. At that point, I was pretty relieved. I was like, okay, I was able to like clutch the ending of Perils. I might not have gotten the jump roll, but I am still gonna get the time that I want. Unless like something catastrophic happens on the final boss fights. Like my goal going into this 101 grind was to get a time that was under 45 minutes. So I'm gonna be able to do just that. Oh yeah, last bonus skip in the run saves me a few more seconds. So the funny thing is that after me missing the Perils jump roll, I was like, okay, this is probably not world record anymore because the jump roll saves about 10 seconds. And then I got the bonus skip and I was like, wait, maybe there's still hope. And then... Oh, man. And then I see the best possible time here, 44:49. And the world record is 44:48. And I'm like, damn! So close. But, at the same time, like I said, my goal was to only get a 44. So I was like pretty stoked. Simply from just being able to be a 3.5-year-old PB. Like, it would have been pretty nice to get record at the same time, but I didn't want to dwell too much on it, you know?
And this is a decent PB you did after 3 years.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So, like, my splits indicate 45:12 because they are DRS splits, but my real PB is 45:08. So, like, that actually ended up being a 19-second PB. And, like, with how optimized DKC is, like that was huge. Like I was really happy with it, and like the run was just so good. Like I was well ahead of record after World 4 and maybe even World 5. I don't exactly remember what Lovebird's time was after World 5, but I was just like, man, this run is good. Like the only thing this run isn't is world record, but other than that, it's like it's all I've ever wanted, you know?
Yeah. Super, super solid.
But yeah, look at that. The run is over. GG. Stop the count. Stop the count.
Well, Void, thank you so much for coming on and breaking down this huge PB of yours. I want to give you a chance to let everyone know watching what's next for Void. Are you still doing more of this? Or are you moving on to other things? And where we can find you?
Can you find me? Wait, he's still alive! He's still alive!
Oh no!
Oh my god!
I'm moving moving on. I was like, done. I was fooled.
You actually got fooled.
It's been a long day for me, apparently.
I understand completely. It's funny because like I always say it like as a joke on stream, but like I was not expecting you to like actually
Me to just go on with it.
That's so good. But yeah, so yeah, there it is, 44-49. So now Carol is actually dead for real.
I don't believe you.
No, he is. Like we're getting a beating off of Cranky. Actually, like Cranky has an additional text box here that basically tells you that you do have 101%. What a player you are, Donkey, my lad. You've beaten the Kremlings, and he's gonna like say something else after that. And found absolutely everything. Yeah, there you go. Like that basically tells you that you did get 101%. So the run is valid. You got their bananas back. Donkey Kong Island is saved, and nice run. Yo, thank you, gamers. Thank you so much.
Well, I already gave my spiel, so
So I can just keep going. All right, perfect. Perfect. But yeah, so that was the one-on-one grind. So I did get the time that I wanted. I was really happy with it. Nowadays, I am currently playing Donkey Kong Country 3. I'm de-rusting the 90% category. That's another PB that I really want to update. Another 3.5-year-old PB. Like apparently 2019 was a good speed year for me, but yeah. It's getting harder and harder to PB, but there are also like a lot of new strats that I'm interested in learning and whatnot. So that's the really cool thing about speedrunning. You know, you take a break and then you come back later, and there's all this new stuff that you can try out at home, basically. And yeah, that's basically what I'm doing nowadays. DKC3 any percent. I've also been doing some Kaizo Ironman this afternoon. I have this run going, so that's pretty cool. I like Pokemon. I play that occasionally on stream. Like speedrunning DKC is really like my bread and butter, but like I love doing Pokemon stuff. I love doing casual stuff. It just doesn't happen as often. But yeah, follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/void with the 0 between the V and the O. You can also find me on Twitter, same username. You can find me on YouTube, youtube.com/@void. Been uploading a lot of stuff recently. I'm just trying to like really grow the YouTube channel and be active there as well. So yeah, give me a follow on YouTube, or subscribe, I should say. Like subscribing is the correct term for YouTube. I would really appreciate it. That would really help. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Like, thank you so much for having me, Nukes. That was really fun. Like when you told me about this show, and like you wanted to have me on, I was like, man, that's such a good idea for a show, because like I never do these kinds of PB reviews, like, you know, kind of victory lap basically. Like I don't really do that on stream. Like I should, but I don't. And yeah, it was really nice to just revisit this run and gush about it, really, and share my love for this run, the gamers. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I really want to celebrate these victories that we get to have in speedrunning, especially one like this that you've been, it's been 3 years, as we said, so huge, and just be able to shed all your knowledge on us, because you and everyone else we've had on these shows are just so passionate and knowledgeable on your own games that it's really great to hear everything that goes into it.
Yeah, it's a really great thing about speedrunning. Oh yes, dude, let's fucking go. You become really knowledgeable in like a very narrow game.
Yeah. Yeah, and you gotta be able to show it off sometimes. So thank you for coming on and showing off all your knowledge.
Absolutely.
Chat, we're gonna be done for the night. This is it for GDQ for the night. But make sure you stick around. We will be rating somebody after the end of stream. Also, make sure to tune in tomorrow for Legally Cute, starting at 10 p.m. Eastern. Challenger Approaching will be returning in 2 weeks at its normal time at 7 p.m. Eastern. Everyone have a great night. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.